Start the video. The audio's live.
Good morning, everybody. We are working on getting our video camera up and running, and we will get started. There we are. Hello, I am Laura, the Education Outreach Program Manager for the 911 Board, and we have Daniel and Leah here with us. And I think we have a couple others that are joined live. And today we are here to talk about the upcoming PST certification mandate audit that will begin June 1st. Good morning.
Oh.
He's my slide. This is our staff. This is so you know how to reach each of us in the event that you need us for our specific departments or programs, but you know, you can reach out to anybody and we'll get you to who you need to go to. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start with the updated rules and guidelines for the public safety telecommunicator certification mandate, the mouthful. And so, yeah, say it 3 times fast. So January 11th, these rules took effect. And as I'm certain most of you know and have attended one of the mandatory meetings that we have hosted, one of the 9 or 10, we went over these changes, but these changes will show in My Alabama 911 as of June 1st. So I wanted to review all of those and make sure you know what to expect and how to prepare your organization for that date. So the main changes, the big changes, the most notable changes are the increase from 60% of PSTs being required to be certified to 100. And the date, 360 days we used to have them certified from hire date, and now it is 180. So we've gone from a year to 6 months. We've increased the percentage 60 to 100. And so those are the most notable changes that you will see your people's status change within My Alabama 911 come June 1st. So the document that you see on the screen is the document that we created and we have distributed throughout all of these meetings in the follow-up emails, and it is available on our website. This is just a program timeline. It talks about the non-compliance timeline, frequently asked questions, but it goes over every change. So you're required to report your people within 30 days of being hired and report them 30 days from departure. Again, the 60 to 100, so now 100% of the PSTs and primary PSAPs are required to be certified. And by certified, we mean the 40-hour course plus the 4-question reciprocity that is in My Alabama 911. And you have 180 days to complete that. And then they have they're required 12 hours of continued education for the renewal period. So 12 hours from the date they become state certified, meaning they have completed both 40-hour basic PST and reciprocity. So you hire someone June 1st, and on July 1st, they have completed their 40-hour and done reciprocity. They have 12 months from July 1st to the following July 1st to earn 12 hours of continued education. So those are the big changes. And again, those were effective January 11th, but we have been allowing a little bit of time, grace period, implementation period, because knowing that you guys were not required to have 100% of your people certified, there are organizations within the state who have 65, 75, 80, 92, 97% of their people. And we didn't want to just flip the switch on My Alabama and then you go, oh, well, I guess we're out of compliance. What's going to happen now? So we are moving towards doing that, but that will not be until June 1st. There will be no surprises to any of you. There will be a weekly report emailed to every leadership member in the PSAP. There will be a monthly report emailed to every ECD leadership. This report will tell you everything you need to know about what is upcoming for your people and what is missing and what you need to do. And Daniel's going to go over that. But I want to remind everyone not to depend on these weekly reports. You'll begin getting these June 1st or before, but you also have the ability, and it is your responsibility as leadership, to check within My Alabama 911 and see what your people's statuses are. So we're going to show you an image.
So this right here is going to be, hold on. Okay, we're going to talk first about the status updates. We're separating compliance specifically from the status so that it makes more sense to everyone involved, so that you know if somebody is compliant or not compliant. There's only two statuses for that. And the actual details of what you need to do are separated. So here you can see it on a test report for a test PSAP. We start with the very first thing is missing information. And this report should be empty every week. After you get your first week and correct the issues, all it's listing is things that are missing, either an email address, a virtual academy username, and our hire date. The most commonly missing attribute on that is virtual academy usernames. And those are important because when we import from virtual academy weekly, if it's missing that username, we still have the record, but it's not tied to that individual, and we can go back and find it and do all of that work, but it's causing that delay and showing inaccurate data because it's not syncing up. That's very important to have virtual academy usernames. Email address, without an email address, they cannot do reciprocity, and if they haven't done reciprocity, they're non-compliant, so that gets you out of that 100%.
Also, when you try to register your people for training, if
Yep.
their email address is not there, they will not be able to register themselves.
And hire date is important because we use that for the 180-day requirement. Without a hire date, they're automatically non-compliant. So working on to the next issue, the urgent issues right now is just showing non-compliant PSTs. So in our example here, we've got Simone Biles, who's non-compliant and pending reciprocity. So that means a certification has been turned in, but why is she non-compliant? Because she's missing a hire date. So we don't know if she's within that 180 days or not. So once the hire date is in, that status could change to something else. For Brandy, she's non-compliant and not certified. She was hired August 8th, and she was due 180 days after that, which and she has not quite met that requirement yet. And for myself, I am non-compliant because lapsed, whereas the renewal date had passed and I did not have the 12 CEUs on there. It's kind of hard to see, but it's 10.5 CEUs. For upcoming deadlines, we've got Sarah Palin. These are all just made up names that we use to just test some things, but she's compliant, state certified. But her due date is coming up on April 3rd, and she only has 8.5 CEUs. So it just gives you an update of who you have coming up on that renewal date. That's going to be the thing that you're going to probably look at the most, because a lot of these other issues, the urgent issues, the mission information, should remain empty mostly from week to week. Once you get these things handled, they should stay like that. And then you'll always see if Sarah Palin did not get the recommended CEUs before her certification date, she would then move up to the urgent issues and you'd see her up there. Also on that list of upcoming deadlines are new hires within 60 days of their due date. So that means they're 60 days from their 180-day deadline when they need to finish all steps of the process. But because they're still within 180 days, they're listed as compliant. Moving on to the second page. For this particular test PSAP, it is a one-page report, but this lists all PSTs that you have currently listed in My Alabama 911 that are not listed as exempt. So if you have leadership or IT staff or somebody in GIS or, whatever you have in there that is listed as exempt, they are not shown in this report, but it shows all of their individual names sorted by name, compliance status, their renewal date, and then their CU total. This CU total is calculated on Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. Weekly. We may find a way in the future to get it in real time, but right now it's once per week. Mondays, the Virtual Academy import is done. So anything that is done on Virtual Academy is uploaded on Monday. Tuesday morning, that's uploaded there. So this will likely be a report that is sent out on Tuesdays or after during your week for the weekly report. For the monthly report, you're looking at the exact same information. It's just sent once a month. So the dates can be extended or changed around to get the information that we need on there, but it'll be basically the same exact information.
Okay, the competency exam, as you all know, we use for those PSTs that were kind of grandfathered in prior to the mandate in 2022. So anyone hired prior to July 1 of 2022 was eligible to take this exam rather than taking the 40-hour. It was equivalent. We are no longer using that after April. April is the last month that we will use the competency exam. We still have a few people trickling in that have had part-time employees they did not have certified, or long-term employees that were supposed to take the competency and then forgot or couldn't access it through Virtual Academy. Whatever the reason is, we have decided that there is no use for it any longer because we are at a point that we are almost 3 years in. So for anybody who needs that competency exam, no longer after April, we are removing it from Virtual Academy at that point. If you still have someone who qualifies for that, you have to submit the intent to test form. We still go through the same process where we receive that form. You need to submit it a minimum of 3 days prior to the test date. Just because it is manual, we have to go in and assign that exam. So if we're off, if it's weekend, if it's a holiday, or maybe our schedule is just completely packed, we want to have a couple days. So please make sure that you send that a minimum of 3 days before the test date. But it will be shut off at the end of April. And then at that point, if you have someone who qualified for it but didn't take it, they will need to take a 40-hour course moving forward. And just a quick thing, I actually had an email from someone this morning. If you have someone take the competency exam, that does come over in the weekly Virtual Academy reports. So just wait for it to come in and to be posted, and then they will be able to get their reciprocity. So the renewal process it's slightly manual, but it's set up to not be in the future. And Daniel is the one that has kind of developed the way works and the calculations and the metrics and all of those things. And if you look and you see some of your people, will you go to the next slide? You see some of your people have renewed and they have a new date for instance, 2026. That is because we renewed them. So if you look in the column, the first one that is circled, it says compliance renewal date. That is the date that your PSTs will renew for the next year. So and the CEU column next to that is the current period of CEUs. A lot of people have been looking at that and say, oh, well, I know that they did 17 hours in 2024. Why is it only showing 13? Because those 13 hours are during the 12-month renewal period only. Those other hours are still in My Alabama 911 if you look on the individual PST's records. But this column is just specifically for the renewal period. So you can look and see Ashley Clark on here has 0 hours. She would need 12 before her renewal date. Tom Cruise, quite the overachiever. He has reached and exceeded his hours.
He came to the user conference.
He came to the user conference. And he's attended a couple other conferences. He's really all about the training and this learning to do all the things he needs. But he has 67 hours. So August 2nd, we have a staff dashboard that comes up, and when someone has reached their 12 hours and they're within a couple weeks of renewal, we have it there and we see it every single morning, and we will go renew it on their renewal date. So when we push renew August 2nd for him, those hours will go back to 0 and he will start over. Those hours do not roll over from period to period.
Sometimes we do update a little early. So if somebody's on for the weekend, or if somebody's on a Monday, sometimes I'll do that on a Friday. And I had an email last week for somebody saying, hey, they had hours yesterday and now they have no hours. And it's because I had just happened to renew them. They were at that 4-day window. And I went ahead and renewed them. So it changed the calculation and showed 0 because they hadn't earned any for that date.
Yeah. So pay attention to the year for the renewal, compliance renewal date that's listed.
And it also adds on their certifications tab for their details, another state certification listed there. So
and then the reciprocity. It's a morning. It's just a morning. The reciprocity that I've circled there. I think that while we've talked about these processes being more streamlined than they have ever been before, they're still not 100% automated. So as we've already said, that those reports come in weekly. So if we get your 40-hour PST certification, we have to still approve it. All we do is we click on the certificate and we confirm that the name, the date, and the organization match up with the information that was inputted. And as soon as we see that, we click approve, and then this button will pop up, that reciprocity email. All that is you being able to click that button, us being able to click that button, and it sends your PST an email saying, hey, you can do reciprocity. It gives them a link. They don't have to sign in. They just click that link. But additionally, on that left side panel, they will be able to click reciprocity if they sign into My Alabama. So 3 different ways to access it, make sure that they are aware of it. But again, that is within that 180-day time period. Okay, 2025 exception. So as I said earlier, we are, trying to give a little bit of grace for people who renewed earlier in the year. We didn't want to just flip the switch in January because we changed it from calendar year earning those 12 hours to certification renewal period. The first few months of this year, those people are getting just a little bit of grace for that very reason, so that we can be starting fresh June 1st. So if you have not been in a meeting and heard this, anyone who expires January of 25, 2 months ago, to May of 25, they only need 1 hour per month in this year. So for instance, Ashley Clark here is May 14th, 2025. She would only need 5 hours before the end of May to be renewed. If you have people who have passed renewal dates, we have about, what did you say, 50 or so?
Right now, yeah.
Right now, we currently have around 50 people who have not been renewed because they have no hours. You need to look at that and see. And if it's January, they need 1 hour. If it's February, they need 2, March 3, and so forth. However, anyone expiring June 1 of 25 or later will be required to have the full 12. So we were trying to give everybody several months in the year to get those. And we'll also provide you at the end of this some training opportunities to send your people to.
And we've had a real surge, I've noticed, as I've done some of these renewals for these recent months, where those that have 0 hours have been attending some of our trainings in person. And that has been fantastic to see somebody go from 0 to 8 and be able to flip that switch for them. I know that there's a minimum, and we have had some that do a bunch of virtual academy, but if you have a chance to go to any of these classes, we still have a lot out there that you can get to and get 8 hours immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that is somewhat automated. So when you go in and sign in with the QR code, those hours will pop up the next day.
No, immediately.
Immediately. See, I've been saying immediately before, and it was the next day, and now it's immediately.
Now it's
everything gets changed so fast around here, and it's all for the good. Thank you, Daniel. Okay. So this is just a reminder. We will be flipping that switch, new metrics, June 1. So if you look at your stats today, or you look at them May 15th, or you look at them May 1st or May 25th, and you show that everyone is in compliance, that compliance could be just because they had the initial 40 hours and have not done the hours. So you need to pay attention to both components, the original compliance date of being certified, and then the secondary would be that 12 months every year renewing. And so when June 1 hits, number one, you will be able to get your weekly reports if you haven't been able to get them before, and monthly. Additionally, there'll be a button that you can just click and download it at any time. You don't have to wait for the weekly report. All the information is, of course, still in My Alabama. You can view it all at any time. But we want to make sure everyone is aware that statuses will change June 1st based on all of those different things.
Or slightly before.
Yeah, or slightly before. So Daniel is going to start migrating this change step by step at the beginning of May. And so what will you start with? Do you know? You're going to start with the people that are past renewal?
Yeah, we're going to start with the worst cases, so that those who are, due to renew as of January, are going to show up in your system as non-compliant. Right now, they may still show compliant because they reached those levels, but we haven't, pulled that switch on online yet. So you may see those happen in kind of waves. It should be quickly, but if I have had this happen where I'm making 3 or 4 consecutive changes and somebody happened to be looking at it at the second change. So just something to be aware of. That'll be coming in May. Yeah.
And during that time when it swaps over, again, that is not going that's not going to affect, you won't be getting a letter saying you're non-compliant. You have 3 months before you have money. Okay. That is just the transition period for us on the back end, or I say for us, for Daniel on the back end. But June 1st, once those statuses will be accurate, and that will be when the beginnings of any contact will be, hey, you're out of compliance. You have 3 months before money can be withheld from your ECD. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this before we move on? You can unmute, you can put questions in the chat. Is there a way? Yes, those will be posted, Dakota. We will put a YouTube video, but we will also have the slides on our website. If not, I'll be happy just to send them to you. Everybody like this, the floral. I'm bringing in the spring with flowers. I've never had a floral blazer, but I thought it was the perfect opportunity.
I like it.
Okay, so upcoming classes, as Daniel mentioned, we have the basic PST course that we are hosting every month in a lot of different locations in the state, in an attempt to basically open the door for you guys and say all you have to do is walk straight through it. Let me just say that I took that phrase from Tangi Hill. If she's on here, she came in here to the office and she said, y'all just open the door. All we have to do is walk right through it. And I've been using that ever since, because that's an accurate description of what we are doing and trying to do here at the office. So you can see that I've circled March 31st. That's the next class, and that's in Huntsville. And you can see the dates and the locations. All of those are open for registration on our registration link that all of our training is located on. And then we will start planning the rest of the month, probably in the the rest of the year in the next couple weeks. We will also have VEP training, 2 days, 6 hours each day, April 2nd and 3rd at Baldwin 911. This is with Anderson and Datamark. The basic PST certification that I want to remind everyone, if you had people who were grandfathered in and took the competency exam, but you want all your people to have the same training, I encourage you to send them. It is completely free. And if you find one that's within driving distance of you, send somebody to have the same training. I think it is not going to hurt at all. And we want to take advantage of the opportunity that we have right now with someone coming monthly into all the different locations. What else? Okay, so April 23rd. I'm sorry, I'm squinting. I have my glasses on, but it's small. April 23rd and 24th, we have Reggie Parker with 911 Training Institute coming to teach the Survive and Thrive course that we have had so many requests for. Not only is this course phenomenal, I've seen the first half of it or taken the first half of it, but if you were at the user conference, or if you're in the Birmingham area, you're very familiar with Reggie. He just retired from Hoover, and he is a phenomenal speaker. And so we are so excited to have him in April. We will also have him at the end of June. We have not determined that location yet. I imagine that we will choose that and release it in the next 2 weeks, trying to get all of our training put out there at least 2 months in advance, so you guys can make arrangements to have staffing. The crisis call training in Tuscaloosa, April 22nd and 23rd. Those are the same class, 2 different days. So it's not a 2-day course like Survive and Thrive.
I think they're close to filled.
They're getting close to being filled. And I think there's one also in April 8th and 9th at Opelika. One of those may have a couple of spots left. Very limited seating here, but this class we have been doing a couple of months actually for the last several months. And it is great training for your call takers. And of course, all of these are in-person courses that go towards your education that you need for the year. What else do we have? Okay, and this, Tracy Eldridge with On Scene First. We are opening her registration tomorrow. We have 4 days in a row, 2 different classes, 4 locations. That's a lot. She is going to be driving all over Alabama, as you see. She's going to start in the north in Muscle Shoals at Colbert County 911, and then we'll be in Birmingham, and then Pike County, and then Daphne. So June 10th through 13th, pick one of those 4 classes or more, one or two. We were trying to spread them out across the state so that if you wanted 2 of them, you would potentially be able to get them in driving distance. But that registration will open tomorrow, and that is an 8-hour class as well. I totally forgot to put the slide up here. The APCO Spring Workshop is May 13th in Auburn. And on May 12th, we are having the OTM Cyber War Games that morning from 8 to 1. And then in the evening is the APCO Awards Banquet. So we did this in conjunction with APCO so that people who were traveling or coming for one would also be there for both. So you can get a 2 or a 3-fer because you can go to the awards dinner and banquet. You can also do the OTM Cyber and the Spring Workshop. So I implore you to register for those. If you look on our website or our training link, you'll be able to register for those. And that's all I have for now. Leah, do you have anything that you'd like to add before we close out?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, no, I don't. Thought I had something from earlier, but no. No, I don't. Sorry.
Hey, and I know that probably, or a good portion of you, if not, I can't see who all is on or from primary PSAPs, but if you're from a secondary or you have communication with the secondaries in your county or in your area, please pass on our social media to them and these 40-hour courses and all of these other classes. We have seen a lot of people coming in from secondaries, and they so appreciate, number one, being included. And we're so thankful to have them because they are still doing the job of a PST. They just aren't picking their initial 911 call up. And so we want to train them as well. So send this information to them, please. We are trying to add them into My Alabama 911. It's a process and it's in the pipeline. It will be there at some point. And Jesse, our intern at ENO, is working on that. And we're working on a place for them to house their records and all of those things. But if you can share this information with them, we greatly appreciate that and encourage all of them to attend as well. Does anybody have any questions about any of this or anything? If you don't, we will release you for today. I woke up feeling like it was Wednesday. I don't know about y'all. I don't.
I thought the same thing.
Yes, and I thought yesterday was Tuesday, but here we are. It's Tuesday. I really, you know what I think we should do? I just thought about this. I haven't even approved it with Leah, but we're just gonna go with it.
See what happens to me here.
I think we need to have a taco about it Tuesday and have a vendor sponsor a taco lunch for an organization who participates and do a drawing maybe for at one of our Talk About It Tuesdays. Because when I started here and I saw the Talk About It Tuesday, I was like, but it's Taco Tuesday. And I think that's what we should do. So I'm putting that in we're putting it in the hat with Leah, and we're going to call some vendors and see what we can do about that. So keep watching and join us on Tuesdays for maybe a taco lunch for your center.
There you go.
Let's see. Can we get a copy of the NAMI flyer for our website and social media? This is Tuscaloosa. Yes, I will get it over to you when I get back to my office, Cassie.
You can also get it off our Facebook page.
Yeah, it's on our Facebook page and in the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get out there in front of everybody in all the places. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I hope that you got some information. If you didn't, I hope it just refreshed what you knew, and please pass that information along. I will say that a prime example, a PSAP, I was talking this morning with Daniel about a PSAP that has new leadership and is unfamiliar completely with this process because the person who was there prior did not necessarily pass all of that on. So please be sure you pass all the information. Don't be the gatekeeper of all of this. Share it with your people so that, you know, when you're not there, they know what they're responsible for as well. I think that'll help your center probably run smoother anyway. So anyway, y'all have a great day, a fantastic week, and we will see you next time.